last week. Yeah, I know, but we can't do that. We got to get you early.
Hopefully Tanya will be able to get in.
If you go to Facebook, go right to your page.
Yeah, I sent him a brand new link. It's the same link I sent you just to get in here. The same link that I sent Tanya, but I sent it to his privately through his messenger.
It's on Michael Hayden.
So it shouldn't be hard to find. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another great edition of Renegade Radio. We're just getting stuff set up here. Normally we'd be ready a lot sooner, but we're just kind of, technical difficulties happen and things happen, and just the way things go sometimes. But I'm Frankie Slauson, and I'll be joined with Screaming Sam, and then we got a new member to our team. Her name's Tanya Nelson, but they call her Mama T. She'll be a newest member of our panel, and we will also have special guest Mary Deese Hampton on in about 20 minutes. So should be great. Should be a lot of fun. So what's the update then there, Sam? What's going on?
He's working on
it. I just figured might as well just get it started. I'm done waiting
might
for everybody.
Well.
Done waiting for everybody. If you can't, that's why you got to work on your. I'm not trying to bash anybody, but anybody that wants to join our show, you got to work. Know that you have the proper equipment, that can work, and also just, you have all this time to figure out. Now I know with Tanya's situation, I just invited her a few days ago, but she called me on the phone, and everything seemed to be pretty good on the phone. So
I'm back.
Yeah. Anyway, Screaming Sam, how the hell are you,
man? Pretty good. Couldn't wait to do the show. We're growing. With people,
try to anyway.
We've got people that actually want to come on a show.
Yeah,
be interviewed, and
that's something.
I look at our. I think YouTube. You got like 3,000 or more subscribers or something.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem to go up at all. YouTube is really. Here's a little something about YouTube in case people ever want to know. Always remember to do stuff for fun, because this is what I was always told. When I freaked out about, wanting to make money and everything, and everybody telling me this information, so I'm just going to say it to all you guys. Never worry about doing it for money, because it seems like money, will, if it does come, you have to be, efficient. You have to know what you're doing, So nowadays in today's world, everything has to be perfect, especially on YouTube. YouTube makes it so much harder for people like you, people like me, people like anybody out there, unless they have a 6-pack and a pound, we'll say, or we're really good looking or whatever. Because I believe at one time it was all based on looks more than it was about talents. And then you have to be. It seems like not only that, but then you have to know the right person.
Right.
And I always thought I knew a lot of right people, but unfortunately, those right people are not around me. They're farther away. Like Sam here, he's farther away from me. If we were together or closer, who knows what would happen? What hell would break loose or whatever. But it would be fun. It'd be great, good times all around. Because then I would trust Sam's leadership, because he's been in the business. He knows what's going on. Even if he doesn't know what's going on, he's still, we figure it out together. And make some magic. So as we're doing a podcast, not on YouTube, even though it goes to YouTube. But it's not really about YouTube.
Well, that's we do it on Facebook. We wanted to make money, and it was a big disappointment we weren't making money. And you're right. Don't suspect money. Don't think you're going to get paid unless someone found us and liked us and put us on Sirius Radio or something. Then we get split millions of dollars.
Oh, absolutely. And then we'll just have to I'll definitely do a live on location, for sure. But YouTube makes it so much harder nowadays for everybody to make money. And it takes the fun out of that too. Even if you want to be creative and you want to get your stuff out there, I don't really care about the money. Subtract all that. It's more about, like you're creating something and you put a lot of effort into something, and either it'll do well or it won't. But yet a guy who has like over 1 million subscribers can film himself passing gas, and that will get like 500,000 views, because he has a big following.
You'd be surprised on TikTok. There's people actually go live on TikTok.
Oh no, she's there's a mute up in here. I'm gonna mute it.
There's people actually go live on TikTok that fall asleep while they're live, and they got thousands of viewers. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys looking at?
That's just crazy. Tanya, you have to mute something, or you mute our screen, or mute something so you can. I don't know how that's going to work, as far as your computer goes, but have to figure it out, because we can't have background noise when we're doing the show.
Waterboy didn't make it in yet?
No, he's not in here yet. That's why I would try your phone if you still want to do that there, Tanya, because it worked. When we chatted the other day, your phone was perfect. Your phone was like top notch, So try to do that if you can. Just log out and then come on your phone, and then if you need the link again, I'll send it to you. Because we can't really, I don't like lagginess, and it's not your fault. I'm not putting you on the spot. It's not your fault. It's your computer. You got a slow computer. I've had to deal with those before, with people that they download so much stuff. And I kind of like if you ever met somebody that had a slow cell phone. You anybody ever show you some weird cell phones back in the day? People like completely download so much stuff and they don't know where it came from. They claim they have no clue, but yet here it is, and they expect somebody like me to fix it. What I did back.
She just said she's going to try it on her phone.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
it'll probably be better.
I use my phones, you know what I mean? Because
well, I've used my computer only because it works good for everything. My phone probably could work good for some of this stuff, but
you got a professional computer too.
Well, it's a gaming computer. So I mean, it does what it does. The camera is beautiful. I spent like $200 on the camera. It damn near does 4K quality. So there he is. There's Waterboy, Professor Waterboy.
No way.
At his service there. We're trying to get Tanya to
the legendary Waterboy is there. He is.
How's it going, sir?
The fingers for the last 10 minutes.
Well, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you that I was going to put us all in a group, but from now on, we got a private group chat so that anytime that I send you anything, or that if we want to have a meeting or whatever, I know a lot of
it's all about this 11-digit number. If I don't have this 11-digit number that always ends in 8, always begins in 8. Every week it wants an 11-digit number begins with 8. If I have an 11-digit number and a password, I'm in. If I don't have that, it won't let me in.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah, what's up?
I don't know if you see the chat. Somebody said, "Will their flip phone work?"
Maybe. We never thought about that. I mean, we're trying to do today's technology, not yesterday's.
Right.
But who knows? You never know.
You know what I found out? A lot of rich people use flip phones instead of these phones. The good phones.
Yeah.
A lot of my rich friends have flip phones.
And did you ever ask them why?
They said because they think they can't be tracked like these phones. They can track anybody.
I tell people this. It's if you're worried about being tracked or worried about people watching you, just give them a good show. Like run out naked if you have to. I mean, just if that way, then they'll realize, oh, we don't want to see this no more.
Right.
And they'll leave you alone. I'm not worried about it. I didn't buy technology to be afraid of it. But some people are. Some people are like, oh, they're watching us. Oh, good. I hope they're watching you. It'll be like Santa Claus. They're making sure you're doing good. Yeah.
That'd be like a Truman Show.
That's right. Truman Show. Everybody's being watched. Good. At my job, everybody's being watched too. So,
Waterboy, you have anything interesting for us? Like do you hear anything, any kind of news you want to share with us while we're waiting?
It looks like Trump's going to be going up against whoever the Democrats want to throw at him. The Republicans don't seem to be able to have anybody to replace Trump. So I think from what I'm hearing, it's going to be Trump versus Democratic
candidate.
A, B, or C. They really don't want Biden. Well, Biden's going to. Everybody says, "Oh, we're not going to run Biden again," but nobody told Biden.
Biden doesn't know where he's at right now. He probably thinks he's probably like in Candyland somewhere.
No, actually, he's watching our show. I got him on tonight.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Be careful what you say about Biden.
He's our special guest, by the way.
Give it another go.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, the comedy was great, but I'd rather have Sam. Sam can be the president. I'll be his vice president, or you can be the vice president. Or water boy. You and Sam can run. I'll just be your
two biggest fucking crooks you ever saw in your life.
Hey, why not?
Hey, how's this sound? The Waterboy Foundation.
There you go.
Waterboy. Yeah, so
that's funny. Oh, there she is. See, a whole lot better.
I can't see her yet.
Oh, she should be coming in pretty soon.
Okay, I think I got it.
Yeah, you got it. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Technology, it's such a pain in the ass.
Our first female on the crew, I tell you. Mama T, everybody.
Mama T, Waterboy,
Frankie,
and Sam.
Oh, just a big hug I want to give all of you.
You can't get better than that.
Well, the thing is, 4 is great. 4 is great. But I feel like, we want to do, I think it would be nice to have a few more people, and I know maybe that's overkill, but I think if we.
What are we talking about for the show, right?
For the show. So,
okay. I was like, wait, did I miss something? I
feel like if the more people that we have that are entertaining and fun, the more people are going to take it seriously. Those are going to see a whole bunch of heads, in a room like, what are we doing here? That'll make it interesting. So maybe after a while, give or take, during the holidays or whatever, we get 1 or 2 more people to our crew, and then we'll call it good. And then we got.
Might be good for our crew, really. I think he would do is that John Lutz guy. He's an interesting dude. He's got, comes up with stuff.
But I don't know if I wanted to deal with 2 John Lutz. I wanted is so much, hard to deal with.
I'm screaming Sam, remember?
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. Nothing against that guy because he was a great guest last week.
He wants to be a guest again. There's so much stuff he forgot to do.
Oh,
hey,
well, what about what now?
What about the hillbilly?
Oh yeah, I could bring the hillbilly on one day.
Who's the hillbilly?
He would do it for a couple of quarters.
He would have to take my place, Waterboy, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it'd be a great show, wouldn't it?
It would be a great show.
Do you guys have some of my relatives or something that you're bringing on the show?
I do. If you go on YouTube and you look up Screaming Sam and the Hillbilly, I played both parts. I'm the hillbilly guy and Screaming Sam, and it's a great
it's
thing to watch.
Oh wow!
You'll be abused.
Oh my God! See a cord down here. Sorry, I was planning on using my laptop for this, right? So I don't.
So you forgot to charge it. Forgot to charge your phone. Huh?
I'm just gonna take you with me. I need my phone charger though.
Perfect. Well, and tonight, guys, our guest is Mary Deese Hampton. She's a wife of the late great James Hampton. Are you familiar? Like, do you guys watch a lot of films at all? I mean, everybody all like up to date on pop culture and whatnot in the film?
Oh, yeah.
No? Well,
I just look at porn sites. I'm sorry.
Sure. Well, she's acted in some stuff. Actually, I found out she had a role in one of the Harold and Kumar films. You remember Harold and Kumar at all? Mama T? Harold and Kumar. That's something little Bobby watched. Brother. Well, she played the mother to one of the I believe it was Harold, maybe, or maybe no Harold. Yeah, Harold was the Asian guy. Kumar was the Indian guy. Yeah, or whatever. Oh, yeah. However they did that. If you remember Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. Yeah. I got you. But her husband is known for a lot of things that she's done, and James Hampton was like an F Troop, and he was in Teen Wolf and China Syndrome.
No, I've seen all that.
Yeah.
Above.
Yeah. So
Teen Wolf, Michael J. Fox, right?
That's right. One of the greatest films to ever come out. I don't care what anybody says. I will fight you. I will argue.
Circa 1985, right?
People talk. Yep. People will talk so much shit about that movie, saying that's horrible, that it hurt Michael J. Fox's career. But it was one of the greatest films to ever come out. Teen Wolf.
Which one is that?
That's the first one from 1985. It's called Teen Wolf. There was a sequel with Jason Bateman in 1987, which was great too. Well, yeah, they all served a purpose. I mean, I got both on Blu-ray anyway. They finally came out with a great package collector's edition from Shout Factory a couple years ago. But yeah, I love Teen Wolf. That's one of my favorite films, next to like Back to the Future and Goonies and all that stuff. You know,
I've seen all the F Troops. I used to love F Troop. Right?
Yeah, that figures.
Yeah, I never watched that because that's an older show, but I've heard about it.
But they would send smoke signals and stuff. And make
I don't like that.
All right. Well, here after a bit, I'm gonna send our guest the link, and then she'll pop in here pretty soon. Okay. About 7:30 here. But whatever is on you guys' mind right now, we can just improvise for now. We should get to know Mama T a little bit. She should tell us a little bit about herself once she gets
Mama T
figured out there.
Oh, once I catch my breath. Yeah, I wasn't planning on using my phone for this. So I've been laying in bed playing solitaire all day. So my phone's almost dead. So I'm a little out of breath. Oh, this should help. No, I'm currently in Macintosh, behind the bar all the time, even when we're closed.
Yeah, because this is our guest, little Bobby's helper and girlfriend or woman, as he called you. He's had many in his lifetime, so I don't know what number you are, but
you can't be saying that.
Still even friends.
So what's the story with the
you were my friends before that, though.
Nailed to the wall?
What's that, Waterboy?
What's the story with the LPs that are nailed to the wall? Are they 60s or 50s or 70s? What music? What do you have?
It's everything. It's a music museum. When Bobby took over this place, he made it into a music venue. So we have live music every weekend, and he decorated
70s, 80s. What's your main genre?
Country.
60s?
I can't tell you that. I'm not supposed to get that personal. But my second main job, I guess, would be behind the bar.
I just got that.
Oh, what the heck?
Your hair a little higher.
You can't say that.
Yeah, you can tell us the first thing. I mean, we're on the internet, damn it.
Yeah, that's right. How long have you? How long have you been his bartender? Since the store opened?
No, he actually had it for about a year, and I just randomly came out here to see him and never left.
Gosh.
Let's just say it was a good kiss. We'll make that. It's a long story.
I remember
that in person, but
I remember those kisses too. I used to get them too. I know. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. We've been
friends almost 30 years. I used to be his driver back in the day.
Oh, well, that's cool.
I might do that one day, Sean.
Yeah.
I might do one of our shows at my bar. That'd be pretty cool too.
I know you were talking about it in the first episode, and that would be great, especially now during the fall season, and do you get a lot of people to come in and watch football and stuff during your bar? Yeah. That'd be a great time to do that.
I just hired a new cook tonight, so she's doing really good tonight.
Oh, good.
That works out for us. That's Johnny's Bar in Mount Washington, folks. If you're watching the show, go try this girl's cooking. It's pretty damn good. I mean,
no, yeah. Then you're gonna have to take a really long drive to McIntosh, Minnesota. So I tell you what I can do with the tiny little kitchen.
I bet.
We had walleye. We'd get this fresh Red Lake walleye, and of course, I've got to say this. Bobby taught me everything I know about cooking walleye.
Wow.
And I tell you what, I can duplicate his walleye pretty well now. People come from an hour away on a regular basis just to come try our walleye every Friday.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Not to mention the rest of our menu. I mean, we've got $8 lunch specials all day long, homemade food, meatballs, Bobby's monster enchiladas. I mean, It's all in the newsletter, though. If you go to the newsletter page, Little Bobby Buzz.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. You were telling me about that because I'm interested in how you did, decide to do that because that's a pretty nice thing to be able to do. Have some news and information about what's going on in the music world and pop culture world that nobody would really think about.
Right.
Yeah. Apparently, the laptop works really well for the newsletter, but not so good for Zoom conferences.
You probably just need an upgrade. I mean, maybe it's slow. Maybe you have something that maybe it's just a bad video server. Too,
yeah, I think next time I'm just gonna have him put me in the studio and put me behind his computer that he used when he was on the show with you last.
Sure. Yeah, that seemed to work
that was
pretty
a good
good
computer. Yeah, I like the phone better. I like the phone better myself. I don't know.
Yeah, you look really good.
Oh, because I'm holding it right. My daughter did teach me a little bit. I am mechanically inclined. I am not technically inclined whatsoever.
Well, you're perfect for our show then.
I'm talking, obviously. I'm walking around video chatting with my daughter. I hate video chatting because I'm usually down here and there's people walking by, there's customers, it's none of their business what you and your boyfriend are arguing about right now, whatever. But she did teach me one thing. Do not hold the phone like this. Look at that. 2 chins, 1 chin. Okay, I got that.
Unless your last name was Chin, then it'd be a little different story. It'd be okay. So,
I hired a midget sit on my desk and hold my phone. He does a pretty good job. Keeps it pretty steady. A midget.
Oh, he would have to hold it like this.
What the hell? All right, guys, I'm going to let our special guest come into the room now. She's been waiting for about 5 minutes, so I'm just going to let her in now, and we'll see if this will work here. Mary D. Sampson.
You're supposed to have positive vibes, man. It's going to work here.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Well, you never know.
I hope he's got better luck than I did.
Mary, are you there?
I am here.
All right. How's it going? Can everybody hear Mary?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, perfect.
Oh, she's not going to be on the view cam Zoom.
No, she had some issues with that, and that we don't really need to go into privately. Anyway.
That's fine. But I was just looking for her.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's very attractive, so don't worry.
Oh, I know she is. I was checking her out.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
I thought she was very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I agree.
Well, Mary, we're really honored to have you on the show here. I mean, this is great that you were able to reply back to me, within not too long, within minutes, I would say, after I asked you on Monday or so.
That's because it's you.
Well, I've had her on before.
To be here, thank you.
Yeah. I've had her on before, kind of like with you, Sam. Like when I did my radio show and stuff. Kind of decided who I'd want. And on as a guest was always fun, but also kind of frustrating because my biggest thing was, will people say yes or will people say no? And a lot of times when I first started, I just thought that everybody would say yes, but you realize how many people have said no to me over the course of time?
I don't believe that for a minute.
But Mary and her husband James were one that said yes, and I know at the time when we were trying to do an interview with James, he was going through some stuff and whatnot, and so it wasn't really the best interview that I ever had, but it was still an interview, and I'll take whatever I can get pretty much when it comes to that. Just because it's a memory and it's something I'll never forget. But
you're so sweet. I think that was probably the last interview he did. He had Parkinson's, and so his speech was declining, but he really wanted to do it, and I know that he was happy that he did.
Sure. Well, I was happy to that he did. It was great. Go ahead, Sam.
Let me tell you something, Sean. You should be honored that you were one of his last interviews he did. Really, you should be honored for that.
I didn't know that I was one of the last.
Awesome.
I had no clue.
You were, yeah.
Oh wow. Well, I am honored. Jeez, I didn't know that.
Why don't you introduce her to everybody?
Yeah, Mary. I don't know who you can. Can you see everybody in the room?
I sure can. I can see everybody. I see 4 people.
Okay, so you know me, obviously.
Yeah.
Now the next one, the other co-host is Screaming Sam.
Hey, Screaming Sam.
Tell her about you there, Sam, and what it is that you do or did.
I was the #1 Sam Kinison tribute artist in the world, sponsored by the family, and done a lot of stuff in my life, radio, TV, everything.
Wow.
So I hooked up with Sean. He interviewed me about 3 times, and I've got asked to do other shows. I wouldn't do it, but for some reason Sean asked me, and I said, I'm there, bro. So I figured we'd give it a kick and see if it works.
Oh yeah, he's irresistible. So I can understand why you said yes.
All right, and then on the bottom, but below Sam, we got a new recruit here. Her name is Tanya, but we call her Mama T. Say hello.
Hi.
How are you doing? Oh my goodness. I remember you in the Fresh Prince.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I feel like I should be using a cane and, collecting Social Security, that we go that far back. Yes.
Oh, people ask me how old I am. I'm like, no. I tell you.
I'm 65.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Yeah. Trust me.
I'll be 40 next week. It'll be my birthday next week.
So. Boo, get out of town.
Yeah, I'm a puppy, right? Yeah. That's right.
You are.
And then below me is, we call him Waterboy. Sam's guy, Waterboy.
How did you get that name?
I don't know if you can see my shirt.
I can't. Wait. Oh, I see a water drop.
There you go.
Is that the only shirt you ever wear? Is that why they call you the water?
I just got it. This is the first time I've ever worn it. Brand new.
Waterboy was a part of my show for how many years, Waterboy?
7 or 8.
Huh?
Oh wow.
From like
what, 10 years?
From 04 to 13?
Something like that. Yeah.
5 to 13?
Probably about 10 years. And he was part of my show. Yeah, the Screaming Sam show we had. So I asked him if he wanted to be involved in this show, because one guy I really enjoyed was Dean, or Waterboy, and he was popular. Everyone called him the Legend. Now we have some Frankie calling him the Legend.
Wow.
I call a lot of people Legend though. But that's just my way of showing. That's my way of showing respect, though. If you have done something in the industry for a long time, that's considered legendary. I don't care what it is. If it's something cool, then yeah, it's legendary. I mean, that's just my way of showing a proper respect, is all. So that's why I say that. But anyway, so that's our crew as of right now. We might grow a little bit more, depending on how we can tolerate the lag and everything, and everybody talking and all that at the same time, and all that. We do that a lot, even with Sam and I. So, so why not add more to the bunch, But the reason why I wanted to have you on, Mary, is not only to have you be the first female guest on our show,
well, thank you.
But we've had conversations and stuff before, but I feel like this is our chance for more people. Like, obviously, people know you. Obviously, you've done things that where people know you. Tanya just knew you right away without even really. She probably saw the name and she knew right away who you were.
Oh.
So I just figure, for you especially, your name needs to be more out there.
Well,
and I don't know how much help we would do.
Definitely. I mean, I didn't recognize the name at first. It sounded familiar, and I looked it up, and I was like, "Her? No way!"
And then the second reason why is because since in a lot of ways, even though I have one movie that is a favorite of mine that your husband was in, which was Teen Wolf, but I feel your husband deserves as much tribute as he can get.
Oh,
and if this is the best way to do it, then this is what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I am honored to carry on his legacy. He was an actor, director, writer, and producer in Hollywood for almost 50 years. And
wow.
In some of what I would say are the most iconic movies of over 4 decades, and television shows. I mean, The Longest Yard, Teen Wolf, Sling Blade, and he would say, an actor is lucky if he has one good hit television show, or he's in one hit movie, and you know, but he just worked all the time, and to his credit, you know, he would tell you, you know, I had a family to feed, so I was going to work. He did tons of commercials and you know, all kinds of things. I was at the Fanboy Expo in Knoxville at the end of June, and Sean Astin was there. They had the Lord of the Rings, you know, reunion, and John Rhys-Davies and Sean Astin and Miranda Kerr and several of the other cast were there. And Jim, I remember Jim telling me that he had done 2 or 3 movies with Patty Duke, where they played husband and wife, and I knew the lady who was kind of you know, his manager there, and I said, oh my gosh, I said, I just, you know, would love to meet him to tell him about, you know, Jimmy and his mom working together so many times, and I said, would you just tell him that, you know, that Jimmy was my husband and here's what he did, and she came over, she said, oh, he wants to meet you right now. So he was the nicest guy, but he's super, he's, you know, super interested in his mom's work. And of course, she was a legend, Patty Duke, you know, in the industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Jim just worked with everybody. He worked we used to host a lot of game nights and things at our house. And somebody said, we ought to play, you know, 6 Degrees of Separation from Jimmy Hampton. A journalist once said he was the Kevin Bacon of his era, you know, and I really think he was.
Didn't he make an appearance in Punky Brewster even?
Oh, yeah, I think we got a 1-cent residual check from that show.
I believe also Full House as well. I do remember him in Full House.
Yeah. Mr. Malatestis. So yeah, I mean Mannix and oh gosh, Murder, She Wrote, and I mean just Simon and Simon and all those shows that were just so, you know, there were so many shows that he was on. And of course he did the Tonight Show like 32 times. And so, you know, if you're 1 degree of separation from Johnny Carson, you're 1 degree of, you know, how many degrees are you from basically everybody, you know?
Right. That is awesome, man.
I mean, that's why he's a legend. I mean, that, you know, he's one of those guys.
Definitely a legend.
Well, here's the thing though. It's like, you know, you ask about, or a lot of people ask about, you know, who are the real nice guys or gals of Hollywood, and they always kind of give you the same, you know, same spiel, you know, but nobody goes and says, I don't really hear too many people say James Hampton, and I don't know why, because he seems like obviously a guy who, you know, would do everything and maybe not say yes to everything if he didn't like it, because I'm sure he'd say no to things that he didn't like, obviously too, you know, but the guy who has, you know, helped shape a lot of our childhoods and you know, when he played these characters.
Because when back then we didn't have Google. We aren't going to sit there and watch the credits. We recognize that face and everything we see. And like, oh my God, I love that dude. Who is that? But there wasn't Google back then, so.
Well, no, I mean, you're right. And he was a very familiar face, and people, you know, might not remember his name. And it's funny, he was on the Tonight Show one night, and Johnny Carson said, you know, and Johnny did not like to, you know, pre-interview anybody. And Jimmy had been on the show a lot of times. He laughed and he said he was almost always on last. And he said sometimes the producer would come back there and say, well, Jim, you know, we kind of run out of time, you know, Faye Dunaway talked too long or whatever. And he'd say, so, you know, here's your $600 and will you come back tomorrow night? Jim would say, sure, you know. So, but he came in and Mr. Carson came back to the dressing room and he said, Jim, he said, you know, I'd like to do something tonight. He said, it's kind of unusual. He said, but my wife and I were watching TV last night and Longest Yard was on. My wife was pointing at you and said, oh, you had that guy on the show. Oh gosh, what's his name? I know his face. What's his name? And that night, Johnny brought Jim out from behind the curtain and said, okay, I want everybody in the audience who recognizes this face to stand up, and Jim came out and everybody clapped and everybody stood up, and Johnny says, okay, now I want everybody that knows his name to remain standing. Like 3 people left standing. So Johnny made everybody put their hand over their heart and vow to remember the name of James Hampton.
Yes.
Jim said for years he'd run into people at the mall or the grocery store or something and said, I took the pledge. So.
I remember seeing that episode with my grandma.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, you were one of them then.
We used to watch Carson together all the time.
Oh sure. Oh,
what about
sure.
you, Dean? What about you, Waterboy?
That's not a lot of the shows. It's a little before my time.
Do you remember F Troop? Did you ever see F Troop?
I watch F Troop.
Yeah, Jim was the bugler.
Forrest Tucker, right?
Yes, Forrest Tucker, Larry Storch.
When I was little though, I just used to like the Indians watching do the powwow and make smoke signals, and I didn't really understand the war part and things like that. I was like I said, I was real little when I watched them, but I do remember F Troop, but I watched them all. I love the show.
Right.
But I don't recognize the name.
You'd recognize the face. Sean, do you have any of those pictures that I sent you?
I do.
I was trying to up, but I got behind and I had to move off that. So I have to see if I can do something with them because I wasn't able to. Zoom has a weird way of when it comes to doing a lot of things, and I tried to do something with the photos before or whatever, and they wouldn't let me do anything. So what I will probably try to do is while we're chatting here, I'll change my background here and with some of the photos that you sent me, and that's probably the only way that we can show everybody. Okay. So so keep on talking, everybody.
Was he on F Troop?
Yeah, he was Dobbs, the bugler.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I got you. I got you.
Somebody wrote that was a great classic, old classic.
He said, he said he'd gone to University of North Texas, which at that time I think was North Texas State, and they put out a lot of musicians, like Pat Boone and Nora Jones and tons of musicians, and so he had gone to school there, and he said F Troop had been on the air a couple of weeks, and he was sitting there having dinner, and the phone rang, and it was a woman from the Musicians Union. And she said, you're playing a musical instrument and you need to join the union. And he thought it was some of his pals just, doing a joke or something. And he probably said something, sassed her back, or she was not amused. And she said, you are putting a musician out of work and you must join the union. And he said,
no
lady,
way.
Yeah, he said, lady, you watch the show next Tuesday night, and if what I'm playing is music, I'll join. And he never heard from her again.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you can see, I changed the background, at least the best that I could anyway.
Yes, I can see it.
So there's one photo. That's actually the book cover, actually.
Yeah, that's the book cover. So.
But it gives you an idea of who he is, and
Remember him? Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, a face you can love.
I was at the Albuquerque Comic Con. I've been doing Jim and I probably did 15 to 20 of the Comic Cons a year, and I was after he passed, I still have so many of his pre-signed photos and posters and the book and like that. That I continued to go to the shows, and I was at the Albuquerque Comic Con in January, and a fella came up to the table, and people have just been so, people have sobbed at the table, they just loved him so much, and this fella came up to the table, and he was looking at the pictures, and he looked up at me and he said, Mr. Hampton just had such a comfortable face. And I thought, you were so right,
As soon as I saw his picture, it's like he appears in my head now. Like I saw him in.
Right.
And this is you and Harold.
Oh no, there's me and Clyde. That Clyde Katsatsu. And I have a funny story from that show. So we were shooting that in Shreveport, and Clyde is from Hawaii, and he is of Japanese descent, and my mother was Korean. And the rest of me is, all European. But when we were that morning when they were driving us to the location, which was an old Purina dog chow factory, and it smelled like dog food. When we were in the van, Ed Helms was in the back seat with me, and I guess he was just then looking at the day's scenes, and it occurred to him, and he said in horror, "Oh my gosh, I really have to speak Korean." And do you guys remember the scene where we're being interrogated by Rob Corddry and Ed Helms, and Ed's supposed to be the interpreter? In any event, he says, "Oh my gosh, I've really got to speak Korean. What am I going to do?" And he looks at Clyde and he said, "Clyde, can you help me?" And Clyde goes, "I'm Japanese, man." And so he turns to me, he said, "Can you help me?" And I said, "Well," I said, "I speak a little." I said, "But what you really need to do is just draw out any vowel that's on there." And so, you know, when he actually did the lines, he did just that, and he sounded very Korean. So I was very proud of him.
Oh my God. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking at his list of movies.
Nice.
It's unbelievable how many movies this guy, how many James Hampton played. Jeez.
Oh yeah, he was everywhere.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that, and you know, I constantly talk about Teen Wolf, especially when it comes to, you know, to you and James when we did the interview back in the day and stuff. It's always going to be a classic to me, no matter what. A lot of people like to literally shit on the movie, thinking that it really hurt Michael J. Fox's career and everything, but no, I think it embraced his career. I think it embraced James's career. I think it made everything more iconic than you could ever imagine.
It was a box office hit.
I love that movie, and I always will. So,
well, Jim did not originally read for the role of the father. He read for the role of the coach. And,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mikasa as Tsukasa. And he was literally at the audition, went in, read for the role of coach, and he was walking down the hall on his way out, and the casting lady came out and said, "Hey Jimmy, would you mind reading for another role?" And he said he thought to himself, "Oh great, I'm going to be paramedic number 2 or guy number 3 or something." And he went back in the room, and Michael was there. And they had not cast the role of the father, and he read with him, and it was just like instant chemistry. And so, yeah, that's how he got the role of the dad. And you were talking about movies that he, you know, parts that he turned down. You know, Jim said, "I had to feed a family." And he said, "There were only 3 roles that I ever turned down." And he said, one of them was Ned Beatty's role in Deliverance. Bert, you know, he and Bert, you know, had been friends, and Bert said, "Listen, I want you to play this role." Jim said, "No, I got kids in school. You know, I'm not going to do that." And so it's hard enough to have a father that's an actor, but you know, so the other one, pardon me?
I would have said no too.
The other one was in The Longest Yard. Jim was originally supposed to play, or was offered the role of Unger, the snitch, the one that eventually, you know, is responsible for his death. And Jim said, "I don't want to play that role." And he said, Bob Aldrich, you know, was sitting there. He said, "Well, why not?" And he said, "Well, I just don't feel comfortable." He said, "Well, what do you want to play?" He says, "His red, you know, the red is coming up his neck, and he's getting all mad." And he said, "I want to play caretaker." And he said, "Well, caretaker's only got 5 lines." And Jim said, "Now he's only got 5 lines. And when they saw he and Bert together, by that time they'd been friends for 10 years. They met on the set of Gunsmoke in '65. They just kind of let him go. And that Raisin Jack scene, where Jim's character is asking Bert's character, you know, "Did you really throw the game? Why'd you throw it?" And they're sitting there, and they've made moonshine in the toilet. They pretty much improvised that scene. They just were such good friends, and they just had such good chemistry. And then the third role that Jim turned down, he said, "I turned down the role of the plum in the Fruit of the Loom commercials because I didn't want to be a piece of fruit in some guy's underwear."
What the hell?
Mary, how about your role? Did you ever turn anything down?
Me? No,
Yeah.
I always want to work.
What's that?
No, I always want to work.
Wow.
I love everything I've ever seen you in. I'm sure I haven't seen you in everything, but I know your face, and I know every time I've seen something that you're in, I watch it.
Well, thank you. I've had some really fun roles that I've done, and the last role that I did for Network was on Netflix, and it was the show Blockbuster, which starred Randall Park. And it was about a guy who owned the last Blockbuster in the world. And it was a sitcom, and it was hilarious. And I was so excited. I played his mother. Now, I'm not that much older than Randall. But
Seattle, Washington, right?
Pardon me?
Seattle, Washington?
Vancouver. We shot. Oh, where was the
Only Blockbuster left.
I don't. I think it was
Portland or something. Oregon or somewhere. Somewhere like Bend, Oregon.
You're in the vicinity, definitely.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I was so thrilled, and he was so nice. And I just loved him. I loved the show. I loved the people. I loved the producers. I loved the director. And it got canceled when it was still in the top 10 television shows on Netflix. How does that happen?
No, that's not supposed to happen. Back in the day that wouldn't have happened, but today everything gets canceled.
I know. I was shocked.
Yeah, like naming a ship the Titanic. I mean, if it's called Blockbuster, it's probably going to end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at some point it has to anyways. It
was shocking to me because Netflix had ordered, I think, 10 or 12 episodes, and all the episodes hadn't even aired yet. And it canceled it, and it was still in the top 10 most watched TV shows on Netflix at the time. And you just kind of go, how did that happen? Shows like, I mean, the networks used to give shows a chance. I mean, it took 14 weeks for Seinfeld to find its audience?
Right. Yeah. And back in those days, the shows did 25 episodes or that was considered like a season. Now it's cut in half now. I don't like that.
Right. Yeah, really.
MASH was one of the first.
That's what I don't like about Netflix and stuff like that, just because anything that's on like cable, you're going to watch something that's on cable, and that's what they do for stuff on cable. Everybody's watching that. It gets it's one season chance or whatever. Netflix, it's all just digital, and it depends on people who actually have a subscription to Netflix. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the show, I can't stand technology the way it is now. It just nobody makes it.
I want to
remember the show MASH?
The companies.
You remember MASH, right? The show MASH?
Oh yeah.
Its first year out, it was the worst rated show on all of television. But the producer, the guy that ran the studio, said, "That's my favorite show. God damn it! You're not canceling it." And he made him make another year. And then it went crazy. Everybody started watching it.
I think it was one of the longest running sitcoms on television.
Yeah, 9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
And it was number one the whole time. After the second year, it was number one the whole way out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's unbelievable. So Mary, what are your thoughts on what Hollywood is doing currently, and with all this writers' strike and AI possibility and whatnot? I mean, they can recreate Jim 100 years from now.
Well, I mean, I completely and totally support, the strike from for the Writers Guild and for the Screen Actors Guild. I mean, look, there's technology being developed, as we speak. And there's not always accommodations for how to manage likenesses and residuals and that kind of thing when all this technology is happening. I mean, when Jim was doing F Troop, when you look at those shows like Gilligan's Island and Bewitched and F Troop, and those actors got paid for the episode and 5 reruns. That's it.
Oh wow.
Oh, they got screwed.
Yeah.
I still watch Bewitched every morning.
And what?
I still watch Bewitched every morning.
Oh, sure.
I love Elizabeth Montgomery.
But, you know, I mean, they were eating beanie weenies after 5 episodes because that's all they got paid for. And, you know, there were no, you know, DVDs or, you know, cable or anything like that. And so
streaming services.
Right. And so we've just got to keep up with, you know, making sure that everybody, you know, gets paid fairly and that your image is not used, you know, beyond what you intended it to be used for. So, you know, and the other thing that's happened is, you know, it was SAG, during COVID, I did a show called Claws on TNT that starred Niecy Nash, and it was on there. It was on for about 5 seasons. And do you remember that show?
Yeah.
So, I played a Korean gangster, and it was a great show. It was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun doing it. But it was one of the first shows to come back during COVID, when COVID was still going on. And I'm telling you, that was just a whole nother world shooting something in the middle of COVID, with the COVID compliance officers and getting tested every day. And, you know, you don't really get to see anybody, and you go to your trailer and you sit in there, and it's just, there's no socializing. But you know, one of the things that happened during COVID, really, where it became really the norm, was auditions were put on tape. So, you know, instead of going to a casting office, you did it in front of a camera. And you know, the actor had to, unless you knew someone who knew how to, you know, run a camera and upload and edit and have the lighting right and all of that, you had to do it all yourself.
That can't test chemistry on a videotape.
No. And you know, plus now you're worried about, you know, you're supposed to get up there and you're the actor. You're supposed to, you know, act and not worry about the lighting and not worry about how the camera is and not worry about the background, and then have to worry about, how am I going to edit this on the computer? I got to get the program, and then you have to upload it, and it's, you know, and so it's for somebody like me, you know, my age, it was very daunting, and I was lucky enough that I, you know, knew young people who knew how to do it. But you know, it's a load to ask an actor to do. And I think that is something that we've got to consider, because, you know, we want to do the best performance that we can do for these auditions. But if we have all this other stuff we have to juggle, it just doesn't seem, you know, fair. Now,
Right.
having said that, you know, the fact that you can be put on tape instead of going in live, there are a lot of opportunities for actors to audition for roles that they may live in Minnesota and the you know, casting is in LA, but they can audition for it. I think that's a great thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's one of the other issues, you know, with SAG, and I, you know, I support what they're trying to get, because I think it's all really important. So.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
Gave us an idea about that, because, you know, I mean, I get actors, you know, they're used to being on that side of the camera.
Correct.
I mean, why would they not? Yeah, it's got to be a terrible thing to know that you're very good at something and not be able to portray yourself at that good thing because you lack in other areas, you know?
Right. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Mary, we really appreciate having you on. I mean, this has been a pretty great treat, and it's a good treat for everybody.
Awesome.
Oh,
You know,
gosh.
honestly, you know, I mean, it's already 8 o'clock, but I mean, time doesn't really matter here. We're just happy to have you on, and happy that you said
so
yes.
Much. Thank
You're
you so
awesome.
much.
You're
Oh,
awesome,
yes.
Mary.
Well, you
So-
guys are too.
So how could, you know, if people want to know more about you, how could they do that?
Oh gosh, well, you know, you can go to IMBD and see, and type in my name in the search bar, and you can see everything I've done. And I'm doing some Comic-Cons. I'm doing the Cowboy Way Jubilee, and I'm doing, that's at the end of the month in San Angelo, Texas. I'm doing the Dallas Comic Show in November. I'm doing the Albuquerque Comic Con in Albuquerque in January, and I'm doing the All Con in the Dallas area in March. And so come out and see me. And otherwise, you know, you can always Facebook message me. And you know, I'm just, it's my pleasure to continue to be able to go out there and meet my fans and meet Jimmy's fans, and just have a good time and talk to everybody. And I'm hearing such wonderful stories. I'm going to leave you with one more story. And I'm hearing stories that I never knew about Jim. You know, I'm married to him almost 20 years, knew him for 28. And you know, here I thought I knew everything about Jimmy, but I'm running into fans of his and friends of his at these cons. And a guy said to me, he said, well, did Jim ever tell you about the grocery store story? I said, no, well, there's one in the book, which is incidentally, his book is called What? And Give Up Show Business, and it's on Amazon, and you can also get it from tcupress.com, or I'll have it at the Comic Cons. But anyway, he said, yeah, he said, Jim told me that he'd gone to Gelson's one Saturday morning, and it was crowded, and you know, LA parking is terrible anyway, but it was crowded, the parking lot was crowded. He said he looked over and there was a little old lady, and she was struggling getting her groceries from her cart into her trunk, and so Jim jogged over and he said, well, do you need some help? And she said, oh yes, please. And so Jim said he proceeded to put her groceries into her trunk for her, and he's walking off with the cart, and he says, well, have a nice day. And she said, oh, I sure will. My kids will never believe that Ned Beatty helped me with my groceries. And he just let it go. So thank you for having me.
No problem. No problem, Mary. We're honored to have you. And you know, I actually had just one last question for you. I don't know if anybody else had anything else, but if you guys do, I'll let you ask after I'm done. My question basically is to sum it all up. What do you think people should remember about Jim? You know, as his wife, what do you want people to remember about him?
Just, you know, what a funny, loving, kind, generous person that he was. And you know, I tell people this, I mean, pretty much what you see is who he was on screen. He had a couple of roles where he wasn't such a nice guy, but you know, he was the dad in Teen Wolf. That's the dad he was. He was the friend from The Longest Yard. You know, he was the boss from Full House. He was that guy. He was just a charming, just he always, you know, he always wanted to do the right thing, and he was kind to people, and just really was a big fan favorite at these Comic Cons, because he would take time, you know, to really speak to people, and he wanted to hear about them, and so that's what awesome. I would want them to know about him, you know.
That's
awesome.
Anybody else have anything else that they want to ask, you know, before we let her go?
Well, you know, Mary, you were in a soap opera once, weren't you?
Yes, I was. General Hospital. And by the way, in the Luke and Laura days, and people will say to me, what was your most, you know, awesome thing that you did? And as many wonderful roles that I have played, I will tell you, I remember sitting in the sorority house in 1980-81 and seeing that Luke and Laura wedding. Do you remember that? And, and then there I was on the set of General Hospital. I was just like, and I was working with them, and that was when they were on together. I was like, I can't believe I'm here. You know, it was just weird. I hate that word surreal, but you know, it was like I couldn't believe it. So yes, General Hospital, what a great experience that was.
I actually
you're awesome.
It just popped into my head. I just remembered I wanted to ask you what it was like working with Lou Diamond Phillips, or going to school with Lou Diamond Phillips.
You know, I wish I could show you this. Well, Lou is just a gem of a person. You know, he is a gem of a person. I started acting school at Adam Rourke's Film Actors Lab in Dallas, Texas in 1986. I think it was 85. Lou was my first acting coach. He was just a local actor in Dallas, and he was teaching at Adam Rourke's Film Actors Lab. And I mean, again, you know, just a sweet, adorable man. And our paths have crossed several times. You know, he's a wonderful actor, and on top of being such a nice person. And he had come to Fort Worth to do The King and I. And Jim and I went to see him, and I just kind of slid my picture. You know, I went to the back and said, he probably won't remember me, but you know, and oh no, we're coming backstage, and he made a big fuss, and he was a huge fan of Jim's, and you know, just yes. And so I guess it was about a month ago. One of Jim's fans that I had met at a Crypticon show had gone to a show up in, I don't know, like Ohio or something. And he saw Lou there, and he mentioned to Lou that he had met me, and he sent me the nicest video that Lou had sent a greeting to me. And I'm just saying, you know, that's how many years ago? Almost 40 years ago. He's just, what a doll he is. So yes. I want to say something mean about somebody, but I don't have anything mean to say about anybody, because everybody who asked me about it, that was great.
I always hoped I would hear a good story about him. I always hoped that that's the kind of guy he was. And
yes,
that's awesome.
Waterboy, you got anything else to say at all?
I guess I try add you on Facebook. So John, my name's John Lutz on Facebook.
Okay,
Mary.
I'm gonna friend you. We're officially friending each other.
Marty, you've apparently never met football player Warren Sapp.
What about Warren Sapp?
well, Warren Sapp, wasn't he on Dancing with the Stars or something?
Oh yeah.
Was he that forgettable? Why do I remember weird trivia like that? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, he alienated a lot of people on that show also.
Well, thank you. And
yes, absolutely.
And it was my pleasure.
Oh, we appreciate you, Mary, and thank you again for being a part of the show.
You're a great person. Thank you.
You bet. Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
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 All right. Well, there you go, guys. Mary D. Sampton, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Oh,
what about that?
Awesome. That was awesome.
And we all did good as a team. Our first team interview, huh? Is that something? Yeah. We didn't know each other. We didn't know this was going to work, right?
I've never done this before.
Oh, well, welcome to my world. I've been doing this since 2006. Thank you very much.
Hey, next week we start. Next week's going to be Monday.
Yep. For those who want to know, this is our last Sunday episode because things have come up and change is upon us. I know we just started this podcast, so it's like, why are we changing stuff already? Well, it just is what it is. Business is business sometimes. And sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do. But for the sake of the show, we're going to start next Monday. Have we decided a time at all? Is it going to be 7
o'clock our time?
So 6 o'clock. So that's 6 o'clock our time in Minnesota here. So okay. 7 o'clock you guys' time, Eastern time. Okay. Right. And they'll be October 2nd. And then from that point on, Monday should be fine for, I would say, for the foreseeable future. When we eventually get to like the 10th or 11th episode, maybe we'll do like a 1 or 2 week break, because I feel like everybody will deserve a little bit of a break after October is over. Because I was thinking about that. It's like, I don't want to push the envelope too much, if we have nothing going on, if it's a slow time or whatever, but I'm trying my best, and the biggest goal that I want us to have, and to keep these guys who are watching us, guys and gals who are watching us, to keep them entertained more than keeping us just entertained, is find a guest. Find somebody that you think would be a good guest that has had something to do with entertainment. Not just the average Joe on the street.
Doing those in the last couple of years, actually.
Well, not just somebody just off the street. I'm talking somebody that that you've been watching, or you heard their music or whatever. Just somebody.
I got a few connections now all of a sudden in the last couple of years.
Well, Bob has helped with that, I'm sure. And what I look forward to is, I told him, I said, now that we're doing this partnership and all this stuff with having you on and everything, anytime that he has a cool guest that's come to the bar, I want first dibs at the interviews. For our show.
So coming the beginning of November.
Yeah, he said something about somebody who was on American Idol.
Nuke Bushner.
Yeah.
The only African
Country singer.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Oh my.
And I don't know much about him, but you obviously know more about him than I do. So, so he's country.
Or you guys just look up My Queen Wears Green on YouTube.
Yeah.
And
I text somebody about the show, but I forget who I text.
Well, I just feel
pops up in my head.
I just feel like it's just very important. You know, it's like, you know, let's contribute something. Everybody should have at least a segment, and then, you know, pick somebody. You know, it doesn't have to be every week. You know, I'm not expecting everybody to do, you know, something every week as far as getting a guest, because that is hard too. I mean, I understand. You know, it's hard to, and the audience just doesn't understand how hard it is sometimes, because people do say no too. You know, and it pisses me off when they do.
Going on.
That's right. So we'll do what we can.
You can ask Waterboy. My show, we used to have the biggest canceled people were the strippers.
Oh, they say yes and they don't show up.
Yeah, they don't show up. They said let's go. They would use excuses like, my mom was in a bad car accident and passed away. My grandfather was in a bad car accident. It was all bullshit just to get out of our show. Yeah, I'm thinking, you don't have to lie. Just
were those podcasts? Were those podcasts or video chats, or were they like radio shows?
Live on a TV show.
I understand why a stripper isn't gonna. Yeah.
No. We had an internet TV show that we actually made Fox News, and it started out to be like we did singers and stuff like that. Then we turned into porn stars and strippers, and we would get all that, because I was in Florida. And there was a lot of strippers, swingers, you know, and we just interviewed everybody who wanted to come on our show. And like I said, that we were always mad because of Waterboy's falling asleep on us. Must be drinking.
Yeah, I got hammered. Yeah.
Had Sam screaming there. That would wake him up.
That's right. That's it. Yeah, wake up, motherfucker. Oh, there's the adult humor we love, though.
The song skit with class.
Well, Cheech and Chong.
He used to come to our shows drunk and fall asleep at the shows when we did our TV show and our internet radio show. Hey, I'm used to it. I just saw him like, he looked like Joe Biden there for about two seconds.
I think I fell asleep once. I went out and got a bag of ice and went and oh, we're not talking about that. Never mind. We're not screaming anyway.
Oh, okay.
Someone said throw water in his face. Yeah, Waterboy. I get.
You gotta have a good arm.
Yeah, better be able to
go through your screen. They hated it. You know what? Glass ice water. Morning.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
That was Sister Mary Elephant.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let me ask around here now. I mean, you know, for those that have been watching, they know Sam and I. They know Waterboy a little bit, but with Mama T here, like we were going to ask you earlier on before the interview started, like what are your, like, some of your qualifications? What you know, other than being a bartender and all that stuff, like what brings you to the table, so to speak, and to bring you to our show, other than me inviting you, but you know.
Oh, well.
We're interviewing you now.
Oh, okay. Well, in here.
Because it's great having a female on, you know, regardless, you know, I mean, it's interesting. Yes.
Sure. Okay. In every episode, I do a highway stories.
Oh, wow.
Artist interview.
Wow.
I do a vet interview. We're all about vets here at Little Bobby's. So I've always loved interviewing people, writing. I like to sing. That has nothing to do with it. But in the last 2.5 years, the person that actually recommended me for this show has reminded me that I'm good at things. You know, I was good at, well, no, actually I wasn't very good at being a mom. For 20 years I was married, and I did factory work, and I did fast food and food service. So being behind the bar, you know, I was kind of made for this. I know how to deal with assholes. I mean,
oh, we love assholes.
Not you guys.
I know about the bar assholes. Trust me on that one.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think you do. I thought I did too, but no, I don't. You really don't. Like, I have to get attention once in a while. Like, people start fights or start being mouthy or whatever, and they just, I say nicely, very nicely, calmly, 2 or 3 times, and then all of a sudden I get people's attention. All right, now come on. I just told you to calm down. And one guy comes in here the next day, and he's like, you know, I don't appreciate being threatened with a lead pipe. Well, false, sir. I didn't threaten you with it. I rested it on my shoulder. Secondly, it's not lead, it's aluminum. Thirdly, I don't appreciate drunk assholes in my bar trying to start fights. So, you know, I was willing to clean up a little blood if I needed to. I was just getting your attention, and it got your attention now, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. I guess I owe you an apology. Oh, you trying to kill me?
Wow. I can't imagine there being a fight in Bob's bar. Come on now, everybody gets along in small towns. Try that in a small town, right? Was that what Jason Aldean said?
And they don't come in. They don't come in anymore. Those couple randoms that like to start trouble, they don't come in anymore.
Yeah.
Mess up the place, you know.
You know what really gets me? It's like when we're at the, okay, I told everybody what my job was. I did a post on Facebook about it, you know, just to share around because everybody kept asking me. So I work at a casino. You know, I work at Seven Clans. You know Seven Clans. I'm sure you've been there before. And sometimes, as a security guard, we'll get these people that, we'll get these people who are so disappointed in themselves that they spend all their money and they start swearing and get mad and blaming everybody. That's my fault because, you know, they spend all their money, and I hear it in the bathrooms all the time. And yeah, it's always my fault. There's always somebody or the security guard's fault. And yet, you know, I'm just waiting for that one person to go all ape shit, you know, in the casino and start shooting the place up. You know, I tell you, you know, they come back the next day. You know, pretty much. You know,
you can get a good check out of that, though. Isn't there some serious workman's comp?
Wow, not if you're shot and dead, you know, because we don't check for weapons at all, which is a surprise because I always thought we should, you know, like, you know, because nowadays you never know who's carrying and who's not, but we don't check for that.
I mean, it's a sovereign nation, right?
Yeah, it is, but it's like
everyone out there, they make their own laws out there. If they wanted to pass the law.
We just started allowing alcohol not too long ago, so that's been a good story. Last night.
One tiny little step at a time.
Yeah, last night I had an interesting
lady. They might take the tobacco away, but at least they take the alcohol, right?
I had an interesting person to come up to me last night when I was watching The Main Door, and that person was talking how much she loved White Russians and stuff. And I'm just like, wow. Tell me the story.
That's prejudice.
Drink, right?
Yeah. Because we sell them there, which I didn't know we did. I didn't know we sold hard liquor. I thought it was just 3-2 beers.
No, I was just one. I was gonna say my response would have been, your lover is none of my business. But
no, she was highly intoxicated when she was telling me this.
So. No, I know there's different.
But she was sweet though, so it's like, you know, it wasn't hurting nobody. She was waiting for her husband to pick her up or whatever. She just happened to tell me randomly. I didn't know who she was, but I love White Russians. They're so great. They're filled with cream and all this other stuff, and it's just so good. You know, makes me want another one.
The random stuff here behind a bar too. I don't recommend it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, that's Sam. Tell us some behind the bar stories there.
About 28 years worth. I don't. It's a bad business. I mean, in the beginning it was fun. Then I moved to Florida. Had to depend on people. What's that?
Were you drinking at the beginning?
Yes, I was drinking.
Yeah. Yep, that's why it was fun at the beginning.
But see, my old partner drank all the time, and he lost his family, and divorced them, and then so he wanted out of the bar. And then 23 years ago, my buddy Alan bought his part, and he don't drink, and I don't drink, and we never go to the bar, and it seems to work out better that way. We have a manager that runs it.
A lot less money for one thing.
Huh?
You spend a lot less money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they rip us off enough for her, so they're always dipping in. We're gonna fire a girl because she was ripping us off.
Oh, that's the worst part about owning a bar, though. The worst part, if you can't trust anybody, especially people who like to drink. If they like to drink, you got customers always wanting to buy you a beer, and then once the bartender has a couple, they're like, hey, well, I guess I accidentally counted that wrong. You might flip a little bit.
Did you ever see me drinking?
No.
Never.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I quit a long time ago.
That's.
You ever seen me drinking? Have you ever seen me not drinking?
And I don't drink. I guess I'm the good boy here. I never drank. Never drank at all.
I answered your question.
It lowers my blood pressure, man.
Another part of the answer would be because, so how personable Bobby is, how funny he is to do and talk to, and he says he loves me because I'm the female version of him. Mm-hmm. I disagree.
Why is that?
His shirts are bigger.
Wow. Got roasted Bob, I tell you.
Normally never, and he can't defend himself.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to many weeks of having you on and stuff. I think it'll be great. I think it'll get us maybe some female viewers, because I noticed that most of our viewers are men. It's not just a man show; it's an everybody's show.
Because I was really putting a lot of thought into this, and how Bobby was joking that something that he and Sam had in common was that they were both funnier than you.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
So,
the sad part, Waterboy couldn't make it on because he was too drunk to get on the show. He couldn't figure it out. Not till the last minute, remember?
I'm just thinking we got it. Between me and him, we're making the show look a little better too.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to look like a caveman here.
I went from 45 minutes to 10 minutes, so I'm getting more tech savvy.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, at least you can figure it out. We're still missing a Wild Man and your brother there. That they haven't made an appearance yet. I thought these are your guys.
We had requests for Bill Kinnison, so we got to work on Bill Kinnison, which is not a problem. Trust me. And
what I'd like to have you do is see if you can get that Bert Kreshner guy you're talking about, because I know who he is.
I'm working on Bert, and I'm working on somebody else. I forget who it was. I have to look it up.
Yeah.
I just think anybody who's watching should just think about each of us, how they know each of us, and think about who we could possibly connect with.
Right.
Give us some ideas.
We're all in the different fields. We're all in different areas. We all know different people. Yep. I mean, between the four of us, I'm sure we know
we could kick ass on this show.
We could be the new Fab Four. Who needs six? We can just be the new Beatles,
we got Waterboy from Florida, me from Ohio. So that's like one end of the state to the other end. I mean, and then you got you two are in the Midwest, like
space for radio.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I think that the right half of the screen with Mama T and Screaming Sam are the funny ones. The other two are like one's drunk and falling asleep. The other one,
And then everyone looks like it's Chinese or whatever. Has a Down syndrome if you shaved it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh wait, funny. You weren't talking looks and smell, right? I don't know what side of the screen I'm on.
Oh, well, you're on my side, and Sam and Waterport on the other. You know, like you're on my side. Well, no, well, you know.
I do something with my hair, a little bit with my face, so I don't look like I just crawled out of bed. And I almost put perfume on, and I was like, "Oh, wait, help me!" Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say you know you should put perfume on. We all should. You know, I'm just,
I did tonight.
Smell me that far away.
I put cologne on tonight. Did you smell it?
You probably didn't realize though that you can actually move your screen around. Like when you have more than one person in there, you can have you can have you go on one side and that person on the other side, and they won't even know. That's why when you get a chance, as you always do, watch the video on YouTube. You'll know what I'm talking about. How I have it set up anyway.
So I just turned my screen. See, like I said, I'm retarded.
We all are, but it's okay.
Like
it's
I saw these 3 dots on the bottom of my screen. I'm like, I know that means I can slide the screen. Okay, what does this one do? It says hang up. No, I don't want to do that. The other way. Oh, there's everybody, because I was in the middle for a second, and I was like, why can I only see one person at a time?
It's probably different when it comes to the phone, like when you do it on
okay, but
a smaller screen.
I turned down. I got it.
Yeah. I've seen when they had like 20 people on a meeting, and it's like the screens just get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and just like wow.
And that's why it's okay. You guys can laugh at me all you want, because you know eventually I'll be laughing with you, because I did learn something growing up. You got to learn to laugh at yourself.
Oh, we
Otherwise, you get left out quite a bit.
Oh, well, this group has the biggest sense of humor. Yeah, I mean, we're not just laughing at you. We'll laugh with you. You'll laugh at us or whatever. We'll all laugh together because we're all a bunch of misfits here a little bit.
You know, you're not going to be part of the crowd.
That's right. You got to have a sense of humor. That was the first mission in the mission statement that we don't have. You know?
You got to have it though.
Yeah. So anyway, I think this is good for today. I think we've done our meetings. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about or whatever.
I just want to mention a couple things.
Yep.
You can follow me on Facebook under Screaming Sam. John looks Screaming Sam. Find out a lot about me on Facebook, whatever. And I got a website, screamingsam.com. And I want to talk about Bill Kinnison, who has a show every Sunday. Preaching deal. It's called what's it called? According to Kinnison's.
Yep, according to Kinnison. The gospel according to Kinnison.
Yeah, why do I screw that up every week?
And you should know it by heart there.
Hey, you know, I don't wear the hat just so people can recognize me on Facebook. No, it's to cover the gray hairs, and once we start getting these gray hairs, we start having to write everything down and get a sticky pad and a magic marker so you can write big so you can see it. So then you stop forgetting stuff, because do you think I didn't take notes about Mary and her husband?
Well, that's where I screwed up tonight. That's where I screwed up.
No memory whatsoever. Short-term memory loss. I wonder if that's a symptom of something.
I kind of told everybody kind of last minute, you know, so nobody really had too much time to prepare. If I get a guest or whatever, I'm just going to tell you right away so that you can try to prepare for it a little bit. But, there's a lot going on too for, I'm sure, everybody. Waterboy's the only one that looks like he didn't really give two shits about it, but it's okay. I'm just kidding.
I watch a lot of TV and films, man.
Yeah, that's good. You gotta have pop culture in your life. Porno films, yeah.
From Punky Brewster.
I watched Punky Brewster.
I watched Punky Brewster when I
watched it.
I'm not going to tell you.
I watched it. I thought she was hot.
But anyway,
does it have a new show now?
I have no idea if they do or not. But you were talking about Bill Kinnison and the Gospel According to Kinnison. How can people find that?
Yeah, what is that?
Know.
You go on Facebook and look up the Gospel According to Kinnison, and you could join it. And then every Sunday he puts out a sermon. I'm telling you, I would never even go to church anymore because how he preaches on the.
It's really good,
thing,
man. I watched it.
It's really good. Yep.
Yeah, it's Sam Kinnison's real brother Bill. That's who. That's Sam. That's Screaming Sam's or Screaming Sam's best friend. You know, or, you know,
Yeah.
they know each other. And that was
He was there with Sam. He was there when
brother.
Sam passed away.
Yeah, Sam's real life brother Bill.
Okay. Not Chicken Sam's, but like the actual Sam Kinison.
Yeah, the actual Sam
That would
Kinison.
explain
The
what his
real-
last name is, and never mind.
And yeah, I was reminded by Dan. That he's also on YouTube. They just started YouTube, and they're starting to get a lot of hits on YouTube. And
Sure,
he's really great, man. I want to bring him up because, you know, I just think people need to go listen to him.
Well, we know that he's been paying attention because he's been liking a lot of the statuses and stuff. So I'm sure he watches. I'm sure when we either watches the stream or he watches the YouTube feed when it comes out.
Well, I could call Bill like this and get him on a show, but I'm trying to save him for a nice. Like, I could get him every week if I want. You know what I mean? I know Bill. He would do anything I asked.
I would say
I
would say let's just try to wait until closer maybe to Halloween or whatever, because then we'll have like a little, not season finale, but like, you know, like when we get to like the 10th episode or so, that'll be like we'll take like a 2-week break or whatever, and then we'll come back with new stuff after. Because I have some guests planned for November that said they will be on in November. So regardless. Okay. But now we'll worry about that at that time.
Him, because so you know, I'm doing this newsletter and it's got a featured artist in every issue, right? And how long do you think I made it before Bobby was the featured artist?
Not too long, maybe a year, maybe. That's like give or take.
Twice a month.
Okay.
I'm on an episode. I'm working on issue 22 right now. Issue 21 is. So guess which issue he was first featured in?
I'll say 15, just to be random.
I'm gonna say 5.
3.
3. Oh, I had it.
I had it. Say 3.
I did. I was saying 3.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
It was only because the album he just put out like hit #1 on the charts, and I had to. I mean,
was that the Simply album or was that the other one?
No, Simple was that was the
acoustic one. Yeah.
COVID album, yeah.
Okay.
No, God Made Me Blue.
Okay, sure.
November.
Yep, I've heard that one too. I have it on my
Roots Music Report, #1 album in Minnesota. And it stayed #1 album in Minnesota until May or March of this year.
Oh wow!
I think it was March. But it got knocked down to #2 in Minnesota. Do you know what album knocked it out at the #1 spot?
Prince.
That Killer Beast thing. The album he released in March.
Oh, his second, his latest album. So his newest album knocked out the old album. Yeah.
Isn't Prince from Minnesota?
What's that?
Wasn't Prince from Minnesota?
He got #1 and he actually held #1 and #2 albums in Minnesota for 6 out of 7 weeks.
Yeah. Prince is from Minnesota, but more southern Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota, and he never had. So that's one of our favorite trivia questions here at the bar. You know, we'll buy you a drink if you can. Well, I guess I can't really say it because we're not going to buy you a drink anymore because I'm going to say it now. But, you know, no one from Minnesota has ever held the #1 and #2 album spots since Roots Music Report came out.
Oh, wow.
And there has been a lot of you know,
Minnesota has so many good artists from the past, present, and future. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I think there was someone who held the #1 and #2 song spots in Minnesota, single spots.
Sure.
The Andrews sisters. I might be whichever.
Well, Surfing Bird, the Trashman, that was a Minnesota hit too, because everybody thought, and even I thought before I read the book and did information or interviewed Rick Chick or whatnot, everybody thought that was like a California band, because all the surf music was from California. Well, not really. It's from Minnesota.
Morris Day and the Time is playing Vegas next weekend.
Yeah, Morris Day and the Time. They're from Minnesota. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
My buddy Louis Anderson was from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Your buddy Louis Anderson.
Yeah.
We're friends. I got a big picture of. I'll show you the picture.
How come I didn't know you back in the day before you died?
No, man, I was heartbroken when he died, man.
I'm sure.
This place in Grand Forks, I forget the name is escaping me. It's like a little motel, and there's like a little wooden bridge to it, and there's like a little restaurant attached. And this little restaurant that's attached had like this stage. This stage Louis Anderson frequented, and that's why I decided when I turned 21 that I was going to go out in public and sing for the first time. I was going to sing karaoke and sing in front of people for the first time since I was probably in grade school, middle school, and I bombed. That's why I remember exactly where this place is. I never sang in public again until I got here. There was literally people booing.
I did the same thing.
Dramatic.
Yeah, you play guitar.
First time I did it on stage, I bombed. Oh no, the first time I actually did good. The second time I bombed, I promised I would never, ever, ever do Sam Kinison again. And then my buddy goes, dude, you are good. You just got to,
Who's Ron Audience?
Yeah.
Well, you
so
just gotta
I went
get
on
the
the
feel
third.
for it.
Yeah.
Huh?
So then I went on a third time, did good. And then I realized the comedy clubs wasn't for me because a lot of comedians don't like tribute artists because they think all the jokes, you're stealing his jokes and this and that. They don't understand. It's harder to do a tribute to somebody than it is to write your own jokes.
That's true.
And I noticed the biker bars. I mean, even Waterboy will tell you, we've been to biker bars, we've been to strip clubs. I did shows at strip clubs down Florida. We travel everywhere we could do to make people laugh, and it worked. We made Fox News everything.
Very true. That's crazy. I wish I knew you around those times. That would have been a fun time to be a fan, especially. Just see you succeed and everything.
I used to walk in places and they'd be like, Sam Kinison's here. And they'd like, oh, you got to do something. I'm like,
you got that picture?
I don't know if I ever told you a story about the VFW. Did I ever tell you a story, Frankie?
I don't think we have.
I went into a VFW, right? They were playing this fucking slow music, all 80, 90-year-old people in there. So I was talking to the band guy and I took a break. I go, do you mind if I come up and sing with you and play the guitar and stuff? He goes, what do you want to sing? I said, Wild Thing. He goes, are you sure? I said, yeah. So we went up on stage and I laid it in there. I was screaming, playing the guitar, and when I was done, the whole fucking room was empty. The fucking place emptied out. So here the manager of the bar comes up and he goes, can you come here every night about this time? He said, because I can't get rid of these motherfuckers. That was the best time ever when everyone walked out on me.
That's awesome.
You're the closer then. You're the closer.
Yeah. I did a little Wild Thing screaming. Oh my God. It just fucking went nuts.
And I think that's how we're going to close the episode tonight.
Do you want joke of the week or do you want me to bank it?
No, get a joke.
Oh, yeah, get a joke. Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. New cruise ship, new cruise line. They hire entertainment. One of the entertainments, they get this kick-ass magician, older dude, really skilled, really polished. One of the other acts is this weird fucking act, and it had a parrot in it and all kinds of bullshit. But this parrot ended up loving the magician's show. So every night after the parrot show, the parrot would stay, hang out, watch the magician. Fascinated with the magician. But after a week or two, the parrot started to see things and started to figure things out. Then the parrot kind of became a little obnoxious and started going, he hid it behind his sleeve. He hid it behind the cabinet. He hid it behind the dancer. Well, the magician started getting pissed. After a couple more nights of this, he'd had enough. So he gets a pellet gun. Didn't want to kill the parrot, just wanted to zing him a little bit, right? So next night, the parrot's like, he hit it behind his elbow. Takes out the pellet gun, goes to shoot him, misses the parrot, but he hits the gas line. The whole ship, boom, blew the whole fucking thing out of the water. The magician is able to hold on to the bar. So for some reason, the bar thing, part of the bar assembly, floated. And he was able to hold on to it and save his life, but everything else was gone. So he's looking around, he's waiting for a ship, he's waiting for somebody to rescue somebody to come and help him. He's dog paddling, holding on to this bar thing. Then he hears this, you got me this time. Where the hell did you hide the ship?
Oh, what the hell? Waterboy, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, that's our encore right there, brother. That's good.
I got a better one than that.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Of course, it's going to be a bar joke because
That's fine. That's fine.
So this guy walks in a bar. Don't stop me if you heard this one because somebody else might thought it. And there is like this dude that's about like a foot tall, sitting in front of this tiny little miniature grand piano, and he is playing Bach and Beethoven. And this customer comes in and he's just amazed, and he's like, "Oh my God, where did he come from?" And the bartender's just like, "Well, I've got a magic lamp, with a genie in it, you can make wishes." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Well, yeah, you want to make a wish?" And dude's like, "Yeah, sure." It's like, "All right." So he pulls out the lantern and sets it on the counter. The guy gives it a good rub, and the genie, "Your wish is my command. I want $1 million. And all of a sudden, behind him, the entire bar is full of mallard ducks. They're flying everywhere. They're crawling on the floor. They're crapping on the counter. They're crapping on the customers. And over the flapping of the wings, he's yelling at the bartender, "What the hell?" he says. "I asked for $1 million, not $1 million ducks." And the bartender's like, "Yeah, I forgot to tell you, he's hard of hearing. You think I asked for a 12-inch pianist?"
Oh, great. That's why we love you. That's why we love you. I tell you. All right, everybody. This was a great episode number 6 here in the can for Renegade Radio. I'm Frankie Slauson, along with Screaming Sam, Mama T, and Waterboy. And we'll see you next week here at next Monday night, October 2nd at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, right here on Facebook.
Do I maybe I have a new opponent for Joke Off?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. There you go. We love that. Good competition. Friendly competition.
We'll do that every show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
I want to be a judge.
Okay.
And
I'm in trouble already, but I love competition.
And who will we have?
I'll tell you this right now. You know what the crotch of a 90-year-old man smells like? Depends. You better wear them, because if I'm going to be telling the jokes, you're going to need them.
And who we're going to have for a guest next week? We'll figure it out. Next week will be our first show after my 40th birthday, so might be a little special birthday episode, kind of. We'll see what happens. So if you had strippers or anything you want to bring me, that'd be great. Just close to a real woman as I get to, anyway. Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway. I actually know one.
Oh, Jesus. All right. See you later, everybody. Have a good night.
See you
next week. Bye bye.